This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
You all ready for this? Mm-hmm. Dun, 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 dun.
No. Y'all, just stop. This is a sham. Welcome to DBL. Happy Friday, everybody. It's Friday. Were you doing the Friday dance?
Yeah.
It's happening. It's Friday then. That's a good dance.
Yeah.
That's a good dance. It was a short week for me, so I'm like, wow, I can't believe it's Friday. You know, I wasn't here all week.
But you were working overtime. I know how exhausting those days are.
Listen, for me, that's like vacation. I love that stuff. Yeah. I'd much rather be on the road doing that than here talking about Trump.
I think the rule is if it's not work if you've had barbecue more than 2 times that day.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think that's a good rule, and I broke that rule. Yeah, so I was on vacation. All right, so let's get started because we're starting with some public family feuds making headlines. First, Kanye West is taking on his ex, Kim Kardashian, over where their kids should go to school. So Kanye posted and then deleted text messages saying that Kim shouldn't have the only say on what school the kids should go to. Kanye wants the kids to go to his newly established Donda Academy, but they apparently attend a private school near their home in Calabasas. He also accused Kim of feeling entitled to decide about their kids' education because she is, quote, half white. Kanye also took on Kris Jenner, who allegedly said she wants Kanye to stop mentioning her name because at 67, it stresses her out. Kanye then responded by saying he won't allow his children to do Playboy or sex tapes. Ooh. It's getting there.
This is so ugly.
Yeah, it is.
And you know what it is? As we were pitched this story this morning, I was thinking we're like the first generation of people to see children grow and then be kind of dismantled by the internet as they grow up. And we're just watching, because these kids are seeing this too. So your parents used to fight in the back room, which wasn't great, but at least you weren't there. They would fight in the car when you were asleep. But now it's happening in real time and it's being captured forever. And I keep going back to the simple question, are you going to damage your kids or are you not? Everything else, even where they go to school, is inconsequential when you talk about permanent lifetime damage. And if you look at the wait lists for all these help therapy and Talkspace things, it's because a lot of people were damaged growing up, and there's so many, we can't even meet the demand, and it looks like we might have some more.
And not even, just quickly, not even just damage, the suicide rates are up, statistics are up, and we're just not looking at that for some reason. Yeah, we're overlooking that.
Yeah, I think at some point, and I've said this from the beginning, the Kanye, Kim Kardashian thing will get into legal problems. They're going to have restraining orders, and it's going to get into the courts. And guess what? It gets super ugly, and it gets super expensive, and it becomes another Amber Heard, and it becomes all over, and it's not what any of them really want. I hope that Kanye puts away the internet sometimes. Sometimes I just wish he would put away. It's a tool that he uses to provoke, and it works, but sometimes it just backfires. And for this, in family-wise, to me, it backfired.
Yeah, it's tough because of the kids, right, Erica? That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to see those kids. The what?
Going after Kris, too, is, difficult.
Yeah, family.
She's an adult.
Yeah.
And she also her hands aren't clean.
No, that's
I'm not concerned. I mean, that's when Ray J entered the chat and was like, well, what about my mama? Because no one was concerned about her when all of this stuff was going down with the sex tape. But at the end of the day, you just don't want to see, and also the safety of the children. I don't want to hear about where anybody's kids are going to school. Yeah. Period, point blank, especially not on the internet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Think about that.
Unfortunately, this is probably not the end. We'll be talking about it soon. All right, so another family feud. Britney Spears is once again calling her kids out online. Same thing, social media. It's over an interview with her 15-year-old son, Jaden, reportedly that he gave one to a British TV network. So, according to the Daily Mail, Jaden revealed he hasn't seen his mother in months and that their relationship is strained, but he is 100% sure it can be fixed. He said he wants her to get better mentally. So Britney responded on Instagram and lashed out at Kevin Federline for allowing their son to speak to the media about personal matters. To Jaden, she added, quote, "On the issue of my mental health, my dear child, understand you must learn to pick up a book and read one before you resort to even thinking about my intellect." All right.
This is so egregious on so many levels. First, that a father would co-sign a 15-year-old giving an interview about his mother and the state of a 15-year-old, and the fact that this outlet even allowed him to have that interview.
The British press,
like, what is that? There is just no way. Whether it's Britney or any other parent, you are going to be at odds with your teenage child at some point. And the fact that all of this goes back to the last story. All of their personal information is out there, and all of the stuff about Britney's out there, and he's co-signing on it because it supports his position as a teenage boy whose brain isn't developed yet. So I just find this to be super inappropriate on so many levels. What do you think, Al?
At first, I was upset with the British media outlet, but I always remind myself, the media is us. We were talking about this earlier this week. People go, MTV doesn't play videos anymore. What happened to old school MTV? They don't play videos. They don't play videos because people don't watch them. The only things we see is the things that the public wants and the things that the public watches. The public wants this, and if you have media outlets that have no scruples about going to the bottom floor of the basement to get a 15-year-old to try and attack his mother personally, if we have no stops in place to stop our media from doing this, to feed this never-ending public consumption of trauma, then who's to blame? Is it all of us? Because it's not like they're putting this stuff out and they're like, no one's reading this sex tape thing. No one's talking about this. So clearly it's us that's also whose hands are not clean in this situation. So it's not anything I consume, but clearly it is a business model, and maybe we have to look at it like that, Tori. I don't know if I can.
Yeah, I find it like really interesting quickly, just that it's like the strategy of using a 15-year-old to do that with the timing of the conservatorship ending. If they can play that game, what games did they play during the conservatorship? What did they not allow her to do when she was, in my opinion, held hostage and not allowed to get any help, get a lawyer, get an advocate, get anything? If they're doing this to the son publicly, what did they do in private?
But she responded publicly as well.
That's where I wanted to jump in there, right? So we're all kind of on the side of, they shouldn't be doing that to a 15-year-old. But you're saying what did happen there? What happened with their child? Obviously, that's strained. Is that because of Kevin Federline?
Yeah, really quickly, Jeff, I would argue the 15-year-old has given the classiest statement between this story and the last story. Like, he's at least said, I think she can 100% be better. I think the 15.
Who's telling him that? Someone's telling him to say that.
But that's my question. Are they, or is that their relationship? That's the other side.
Right.
You might be 100% right.
No, I agree.
But Britney, as a parent, I would not attack my child online. Okay, that's something you say. I'm going to call you on this side. You just scolded me for being in the media. Now I'm going to post a media comment. As a parent, I would not scold my child and say, my dear, read a book. I would not say that about my child. Would you reach out to your child, Al, online?
What if you had no other way to contact that child? Like, what if there's...
Then I will work behind the scenes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. I'm not putting my business out for anybody for any reason.
Right.
Especially for likes and retweets. Excuse me?
I don't think it's for that. I think it's strategic and it's legal. And if he's, what she said, smoking weed all the time, not getting a job, she has to fight her battle too. And she has to stand up for herself because no one else is doing it. They got a whole family, a lot of lawyers, and a lot of years that they practiced. She's just new at this, and she's got to stand up for herself. Do I think it crossed the line? Probably you're right. As a parent, you probably should have done it behind scenes. But as a public figure, she also has to protect her reputation.
All right. Let's get this last story. And there was another case of mistaken identity at the U.S. Open. This time, two announcers mistook Dionne Warwick for fellow singer Gladys Knight. Let's watch.
Oh, got some more stars.
Gladys Knight.
Gladys Knight.
Hello.
Seemed like a Saturday Night Live skit, but they were announcing it.
It did sound like that, yeah.
One of the announcers later tweeted that she was looking at the stands where Gladys was sitting and not at the monitor showing Dionne. So at that time, still Dionne had some fun with it. All these extra words in here. I gotta look over the script. And tweeted, "Hi, I'm Gladys Knight, and instead of taking that midnight train to Georgia, I won't walk on by, but will say a little prayer for you," which was a nod to both of their songs. I butchered that whole script. Do you guys understand? They were mistaken.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't understand. Like, you know that there's more than like 4 black women, right?
Really?
Like, I mean, is it Beyonce? Well, if it isn't Beyonce, it must be Michelle Obama.
Right.
It's not Michelle Obama.
Who could
Well,
it be?
Oprah. Oprah, where's Oprah?
Right.
Like, y'all, get it together.
Yeah.
Just don't even, if you don't know, ask somebody, or better yet, have people who know that all black women don't look alike.
Yeah, and
that is Dionne Warwick. She is a legend and an icon.
And you should.
Why are we mistaking these people? I don't get it.
So you're not buying that she was looking at something else?
No.
Okay.
Especially in a very historically white sport in which we're dealing with Serena retiring, changing the face, and we can't get people's.
Y'all didn't know
They can't
black
get
people
it?
were gonna be there for Serena's retirement.
You can't get that
You
right?
couldn't have had
Thank
a
you.
face like the whole disorder, like chart, whatever, with
Thank
the
you.
face and a name.
Thank you.
Just to get a Rolodex of potential black people
I think you might get
who
in
might
trouble
be
bringing
there.
that chart in there.
Yes, we need
This is my
just
chart
like
of black women.
You just
Hold
go
on a
through.
second, Al.
Go through.
So
Figure it out.
Yeah.
All right.
good-
Wow. Ended on a bang there. Coming up on DBL, was Leah Michelle really a bully on the set of Glee? She's finally speaking out. I'm still laughing at Erica. And getting schooled by Snoop. We've got the deets on his new YouTube channel for kids. I haven't even seen it, but I love it.
He's taking over.
Closed captioning provided by
Hey, just stopping by to say we're taking over. We're mad. Oh, yes. We're taking over. You know what time it is. We're taking over.
All right. And we were talking about Dionne Warwick and Gladys Knight, and like these, it's so interesting because music is mostly digitized now. There are people that have kind of cool record collections that they display, but back when just like people used to have records around the house, like going into my grandparents' house, there are just albums that I remember that would just be out and around the record player. It would be Dionne Warwick, Gladys Knight. It would be Atlantic Star, Cassandra Wilson. There were all these kind of just soulful, and the music would just kind of always be playing. It was almost like, not elevator music because their voices are so powerful, but it'd be at a low level. And it would kind of set the mood for their house. It was like Alexa before Alexa.
It was like a vibe.
Yeah,
It was a
a
vibe.
vibe
It was
in
a
the
vibe.
house
It was a
all the
vibe.
time. And it was like, it kind of kept everybody like, hey, no one's going to be yelling. You know, come on.
Everyone
Aretha Franklin's playing. Come
That's
on.
right.
No one's arguing.
Really quick shout out to Sierra. Her birthday was yesterday.
Yes.
Turned 26, and she handed me this beautiful
Am
thing.
I allowed to ask her how was her hot air balloon right now?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's on Monday.
You have a hot
Okay.
air balloon?
Yes. I get.
Make sure you
How was
eat.
dinner? Was dinner good? Yeah, so you had a good birthday?
Yeah, I had a great birthday.
26, that's good because you're not like, I'm 26. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You're like kind of like, I'm just going to go out to
getting
dinner,
there.
maybe have a drink or two.
You're marinated.
I can't speak for you.
Would you say that this was your first kind of, I don't want this to sound disrespectful, like your first like kind of a grown-up adult birthday? Because up until 25, they're
Right.
like, I don't know where my shoes are when you wake
You're
up.
like partying.
And then 26, it's like you can go out and get dinner.
I don't know. I don't think it. I think what happens is at like 30, you start popping the real bottles.
Yeah.
And then you revert back to like.
Well, you
where
got money
were.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
then
you
the
got your
real
first
bottles
adult
start
job.
popping.
Yeah.
Like it's not a cocktail. Now you got to get bottles.
Yeah. It's all the first friend that
26.
suggests like, you know, we're grown up now. We could just reserve the back of this lounge. And you're like, can
Yeah,
we
when
do
you can
that?
get a table.
Yeah,
you
you're
can
like-
not be like, can I get in?
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh.
A former house husband returns from his shady past. Snoop has a little something for the kids, and Gabrielle Union is teasing fans in this week's What Erica's Watching. First, former Atlanta house husband, Apollo Child. You know Phaedra Parks' ex? Well, he's found his way back out of prison and on to Bravo in the latest Atlanta Housewife episode. Now, he gave Sheree advice about her man, who's also an ex-con, but since filming, Sheree is single.
When my ex left me, you know, she left me basically to die. You know, Phaedra left me to basically rot. You know, that's how I look at it.
Now, why do you say that?
Now, I wonder if Apollo's trying to return to the show as Sheree's new boo. Next, Snoop shared his latest project, Doggyland, a new animated educational YouTube series for the kids.
Doggyland to me would be a 3D animated
cartoon series designed for kids. I say preschoolers, toddlers.
Snoop's teaching kids 1, 2, 3 into the 4 and how to ABC walk. But more importantly, the dog father is schooling them on how to be unique, love, and share. And finally, my girl Gabrielle Union has social media buzzing about a Bring It On reboot. Yes! And everyone is commenting on who they think should play her character Isis. However, Megan Thee Stallion says don't count her out.
We've had the best squad around for years, but no one's been able to see what we can do.
We're in trouble.
But you better believe all that's gonna change this year.
Now, I'm not mad at Megan for wanting to rock a Clover's cheer uniform. I'd like to rock one myself. But Gabrielle Union gets my vote because her black has no crack. Now share with me anything that catches your eye by using the hashtag DBLEricaWatch. We'll be right back.
Suffer from pain? You're not alone. Omega XL can help. For years,
President Biden just announced a plan to cancel up to $20,000 in student debt for some people. When critics attacked the plan, the White House responded on Twitter by pointing out some of those critics had gotten even larger loans forgiven by the government. Those loans weren't student loans, they were Paycheck Protection Program loans. The PPP was created during the early stages of the pandemic to provide business owners with cash so they wouldn't have to lay off workers. According to the Treasury Department, as long as the loans were used to cover payroll, they could be, and often have been, forgiven. Recently, many people have claimed that the average forgiven PPP loan was much larger than the 10 to 20 grand in forgiveness that many students are now receiving. This tweet from Senator Bernie Sanders says the average amount of debt forgiveness to businesses was more than $95,000. So let's verify. Is the average amount forgiven for PPP loans greater than $20,000? Our sources, the Small Business Administration, the Department of Education, and the Pandemic Response Accountability Committee. That committee is a government agency tasked with tracking how pandemic relief funds get used. Out of a total 11.5 million PPP loans, more than 10 million were fully or partially forgiven. And the agency calculated that the average amount forgiven was $72,500. So where did Sanders get the 95,000 figure? Well, that was the average as of last year, when only about 4 million loans had been forgiven. Since then, millions of smaller loans have been processed, bringing the average down, according to the Small Business Administration. But when it comes to student loans, the max most people can get forgiven under Biden's plan is 20 grand. So even with the lower 72 grand figure for PPP loans, we can verify, yes, the average amount forgiven for PPP loans is greater than $20,000. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
Welcome back. Former Glee star Lea Michele is talking about being labeled a bully. So speaking to the New York Times, Lea said she has an edge to her and leaves no room for mistakes, but says having that level of perfectionism has left her with, quote, a lot of blind spots. She also said she wasn't the best leader off camera while she was on Glee. In 2020, her former Glee co-star Samantha Ware called Lea out for being a bully on set and claimed Lea threatened her job in front of other cast members.
This is real. Sorry, I don't like Lea Michele. I'll be very honest with you. And what Samantha Marie Ware said went further as to what she planned to do in her wig, which is something I can't discuss on this television show. That Lea Michele said, this is what I'll do to your wig if you go against me.
Isn't that what a bully would say?
That's what a bully would say. You're not a perfectionist. We're not going to cover this up. We're not going to clean it up. You are a straight up bully. She's playing one of my favorite characters, Fanny Bryce, in Funny Girl. She'll be about to be on Broadway. Do I think that's fair? No, I don't. I think she's racist and a big bully. And I will say it from this part of my platform that I have. She can come at me all she wants, but I find her to be someone I would never want to work with.
Do you think talent supersedes that kind of behavior?
Great question.
I want to say maybe this business, but all business. Take it to sports. Take it to anywhere you want.
That it excuses it?
That's what I'm saying. Does to some level.
See, here's the thing. She was following the playbook of all the women who did the same things that came up in front of her. Her issue was the internet.
She got caught.
Because when it really comes down to it, once you tell someone, there's two types of people. There's a person who you tell, you know, oh my gosh, you are of this utmost value. You are respected and you are to be revered. Then and that person either decides that they are going to act as a leader and be the model for everyone else who is looking up to them, or they make a decision. The other side of that is they are going to abuse that authority and make sure that everyone behind them knows that it's their authority to abuse. And a part of that, really, which is the ironic part, is the insecurity that makes people do those things. But I have certainly experienced it. I'm sure we've all experienced it on some level at some points in our lives. And the funniest part about most of this, and we see this in Glee, and we see this a lot of times in other situations where you might not have been a main player, but as you go through the ranks and now you become a star and you have a voice, to turn back and be like, you played me all that time, and now I'm going to be very vocal about what it is you did, because now I'm in the position that you were in, and I don't choose to abuse my authority, you piece of crap.
I agree with you.
You know, in that position that you're speaking of, Erica, is that position of leverage. She had all the leverage at first. Whatever she said, go. If somebody said something to her, she would have been like, well, she's an intern. She's a day player. She's she's just beneath her. But now you can't say that. She's lost some of that leverage. And Jeff, you were talking about, are you allowed to act like this if you're in the #1 spot? And the answer is, quite frankly, yes.
I agree with you.
Quite frankly,
I agree with you.
You do. She has a lot of leverage. She's driving a show that's driving eyeballs towards advertisement. And that should be on our Constitution, because that's all that capitalism cares about. So she has all the leverage at that point. But as her star begins to fade, like everybody's star begins to fade, what happens? That person what do they say, Jeff? Be nice to those people on the way up.
Exactly right.
And now, as you're on your way down, you guys are going to overlap, and you guys are going to be eye to eye. And she's like, what were you going to do in my wig?
Yeah,
exactly.
Here we are.
How come, though, that this cancel culture that we're kind of getting out of or in hasn't caught up with people like this?
I think what you said was like, she's so perfect.
Too much power.
And too much talent and too much power.
But she had to, the reason why this is a story is because she had to lay low for so long.
Very long time.
She was laying low.
But she's got a new show now coming out and Broadway?
She's the new.
People have been canceled for a lot less than this. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No, not at all. But Barbara Streisand's role as Fanny Brice, everybody wanted it. Beanie Feldstein went on Broadway, didn't do a good job. She's like, this will be mine. I don't know how they allowed her. But she is, and you're right, she's uncanceled somehow. But there are people who are boycotting the Broadway show because of it.
Bigger story than I thought. Good combo. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by...
This time it's monkeypox, the rare but rarely deadly disease with symptoms similar to smallpox. The CDC's statistics show it's very uncommon in children, but with schools back in session, parents and teachers are asking, is it possible for monkeypox to spread through school surfaces like desks and sleeping mats? Our sources are the CDC, a recent monkeypox surface study conducted by the Utah Health Department, and Chris Uhl, infectious diseases physician with Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist.
The most common way that monkeypox is transmitted is directly from person to person, and this involves skin-to-skin contact. A small number of cases could be transmitted by respiratory droplets. There are also sometimes people can get it from what we call in medicine fomites, which is the environment around us.
The CDC emphasizes the risk to children is low, though yes, again, it can spread through contaminated objects like toys, eating utensils, fabrics, and surfaces used by someone who has monkeypox. The Utah Health Department study took 30 specimens from a house with 2 people with monkeypox. Several items had traces of the virus, but none had a positive viral culture result, meaning the virus wasn't viable or infectious on those surfaces.
The surfaces that are most problematic are actually soft fabrics, so like bedding, towels, things that we would use somewhat intimately with skin-to-skin contact. Other surfaces, such as desks, doorknobs, telephones, are much less likely to become contaminated because the skin to direct contact would be quite unusual.
The CDC says the best disinfectants for monkeypox are the same ones you're using for COVID or any other emerging viral pathogen. EPA's pesticide product and label system search page allows you to see name brands and generics that perform best. At this point, the CDC is not recommending students stay out of school for monkeypox exposures, unless, of course, they have symptoms. At that point, the child's doctor and local health department should advise what to do and whether the vaccine might be an option. With your Verify, I'm Megan Malaris.
Verify viewers are always on the lookout for the next potential scam, and we love when you ask us about suspicious claims and requests, like Karen did. She received this letter that claims to be from the federal government that asks her to answer questions about her passport. So Karen, let's verify. Is this passport survey from the U.S. Department of State legit? Our sources are the State Department, the Office of Management and Budget, and the U.S. Government Accountability Office. The State Department is responsible for issuing passports to Americans. Every month, the agency mails a letter, like this and the one received by Karen, to 35,000 addresses nationwide, inviting them to take part in a survey about passport demand. The survey asks questions about whether anyone in the home has a passport or will need one in the next few years. The State Department says it then uses this data to know when it needs to hire more people, build more infrastructure, and add resources to issue passports. So, yes, this passport survey from the U.S. Department of State is legit. The department says it may also call people who don't respond to the letter.
Hey, no time to run, no games. Your time has come today. Just stopping by to say we're taking over. We're made of this. We're taking over. You know what time it is. We're taking over. We're made to win.
DBL is all new every day.
Say what we made for. Made of this.
Wow. Can you guys believe, like, it hit me like maybe over the weekend or while I was away that we're going on season 6. Isn't that is that crazy to you guys? Maybe just a personal moment for us?
No, it's super crazy because this is like, I don't know if it's meta, but it feels like very surreal because we are a entertainment, news, trending show. But we're also a reality show.
Yeah.
Like, y'all been following our lives for the past 6 years. And it's all these interpersonal, communications and relationships. And that's what it is. We are a reality show.
It's crazy. It is. We're a crazy family.
It really is. And it's evolved. It's been nuanced. It's grown. But the best thing is the trust and respect between us, I believe, is still there. And I think that's right.
I mean, sometimes you go rogue and I don't trust
Tori,
you at
it's
all.
season 6 and Tori still is not confident in her statement.
Yes.
Are you guys with me?
Yeah.
Are you guys, are we still going to lunch?
Am I in that promo? Okay.
But it's crazy. I mean, we are all here. We should give ourselves a pat on the back. You know what I mean? Like, came a long way.
I love you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Love you guys.
Yeah, it's we tee off next Monday, but yeah, I'm proud of everybody. I'm proud of what we did here.
Well, thank you.
We're proud of you, Jeff.
We've come a long way. Did you hear that, everybody? We've come a
Baby.
long way. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you on Monday?
Tuesday.
I know, but maybe we'll be here on Monday, but we might not be here. Happy Labor Day.